cut. To get to Hatch, I usually go Hatch PyPA, and this will be the top one here, hatchpypa.io. If I click on that, I go to installation, and let's make this a bit bigger. If I go to Windows, I find downloading this browser, save, going onto the desktop. I've already done it once before, but if I do it again, it's going to run through the installation. You'll see this. Just do it. It is protected because it's approved, so I'll do run anyway. It's going to run through, change, repair, remove. I'll put down the repair. It doesn't need it because I've installed it before. Go through. That's all done. So now what I can do is in my desktop, I've got a big folder here called Hatch. What I'm going to do is actually delete the previous version, and I'm going to open up VS Code into Hatch as the root. I've got my VS Code settings here. Close that down. So what you do is run Hatch for a new project, new, and I'm going to call it, and you can do it many ways. If you do it like this, it'll put in all the underscores, and you'll see to make it sort of Python compliant. And if we see here, we get hatch underscore demo in a source folder. The top folder is called hatch-demo. That's useful then if you're sending up to PyPI. So we now have this folder here. And if we look, we have a source folder. It has about for versioning. We'll go into that later. It has its test folder and it has its pyproject.toml. And what I'm going to do to show how we would set up our source code is copy across a file that I have already that I was doing in my tests. I'm going to copy over main.py. And I'll put that in my source hatch demo into there. I also have an example test, very minor. Copy test example, copy that across. This is available in the repo, so you can get this straight away. Now, if you want to look, the way Patch works, it works outside of Python. So normally we would create a virtual environment and run it, install everything inside, then run it. What Hatch does is it creates different environments depending on what you're going to do. So let's just see what environments we have. Hatch, env, show. We can see we've just got the standard default. Let's go in and create our own environment for something that we're going to use with Rich. So I'm going to go back to my lovely example. What I've done is created here a development environment. So all of these ends dot, this is our environment dev. And as you can see, the extra dependencies, I'm installing Rich. And what I'm also doing is creating a script that I can run Python and run the main py. So let's copy that across and put that into pyproject.toml if we go all the way to the end. So we've got an environments, we've got a dev. If we go further up, we notice that we can have different environments. For example, for testing with MyPy, there's already built into the template is an environment called types, which has a script, types.scripts of check, and it will run MyPy across it. So let's just run that to start with. So the way we would run that is do hatch run the name of the environment, types, and then the script. And the first time round, it will look through everything. It will take a little while to set up its demo. What have I done wrong here? Types. Let's do cd hatch demo. Let's run that command again. There we are. So that's a little pointer. This is the folder where we actually work and run Hatch, not in the main top folder. And what you can see is it's creating its environment, going through everything. This is just the first time. Thereafter, it'll be a lot quicker. It's setting everything up, going through all the dependencies, and then it will run syncing dependencies. And it's a good point to note that I'm in Hatch demo. I'm actually in this folder, not the main root. This is where Hatch is working, but this is where PyProject is. Syncing, gonna run the tests. Found a couple of errors. Found 5 files. If we were to run it again, it's going to be very quick because it's built up. So what are the errors? Cannot find him in the library for module name rich.markdown. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my main.py, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out just for the moment and take this one out. So control save. Let's run this again. Found one error, checked in 5 sources. What is the error? Import not found. I don't actually understand that for the moment, but we'll leave that. Let's actually run the project. And if you notice, we're in a development environment, development.script. So what we'll do is we'll go and run dev, which is our environment, and we have our script called console. It creates up a new environment. We don't build one, it creates it new, and we'll see that when we go through our list of environments, which will be picked up straight from pyproject.toml, not because we've run this first command. So let's just wait for this. And it's obviously along the very first time. There, we've got the hello world, which is what we've got in here. So if I make that blue, now if I run it again, that's quick. And if we do hatch env show, we will see that we have now all of these environments, not because we ran them, just because they exist. So if we were to start up the project from scratch, we have types, and it's got a script called check. It's dependencies. We have our environment called dev, console. So this is how we just get up and running in our usual way of running things. There's obviously more in pyproject.toml that we can look at. But for me, it was actually just getting up and running and how to do the sort of the files. So the important one for me was, we've also have, if we want to run our tests, right at the end here, I created a dev environment here, and I created a script that just runs that. Now, of course, when I'm in here, I can just run this command, and that would do it just as well. Hello world there. So that's how we do it. And if we want to run our tests, all we need to do is pytest. Pardon me, if I'm doing the usual way, python-m pytest-vs, I'm going to run it. There, the tests have passed. And if we look at our test, it's just printing and true. So if you're developing away and want to know how to kind of construct it all up so that it has its format of Hatch, this hopefully is a way to do it on Windows. My VS Code here for my settings, the main Py, and obviously it's all in source_hatch_demo. Hope you found that useful.